time I get to Phoenix, you'll be rising.
The year was 1967. The song was By the Time I Get to Phoenix, and Glen Campbell was on his way to a string of 20 top 40 hits.
Says I'm leaving.
Glen Campbell was born on an Arkansas farm, one of 12 children. He began playing the guitar at age 4, and 2 years later, he was performing at local radio stations. He dropped out of high school in the 10th grade to join a band.
Take me back, I'm too young to marry.
Glen bounced around from band to band, but found steady work as a studio musician in the mid-60s. Despite his success as a guitarist, he gave it up in 1967 to concentrate on a singing career.
Well, it's knowing that your door is always open and your path is free to walk.
That same year, Glen teamed up with songwriter Jimmy Webb and recorded Gentle on My Mind and By the Time I Get to Phoenix, and won 4 Grammys.
I hear you singing in the wire, and I can hear you through the whining.
The duo hit gold again with Wichita Lineman.
And the Wichita Lineman.
Glen tried acting. He had a small part in the film True Grit with John Wayne.
I'm gonna raise welts on you like worms.
You do, and it'll be the biggest mistake you ever made, you Texas brush popper.
But had better luck on the small screen.
Well, it's knowing that your door is always open and your path is free to walk. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Glen Campbell.
The Glen Campbell Good Time Hour was a television hit for 3 years.
Like a rhinestone cowboy, riding out on a horse in a soft rodeo.
Glen's last top 40 pop hits came in the mid-70s. Since then, he's returned to his country roots. He spent the early 80s touring with Tanya Tucker, and the two started to make more than music. Their stormy affair made tabloid headlines and ended up in a broken engagement.
And when you're sleeping softly by my side.
In 1982, Glen married former rockette Kim Woolen. They have 3 young children. Glen has 5 children from 3 previous marriages.
Rock, rock till the morning light.
In his latest project, an animated film called Rock-a-Doodle, Glen is the voice of an Elvis-like rooster. And as Glen tells our correspondent Sandie Newton, these days he has something to crow about.
Now, you were the 7th son out of 12 children. That's a lot of kids to grow up around.
Oh, it is, man. The bedwetter had to sleep alone.
You shared a room with, what, 3 brothers, 2 brothers?
Yeah, we slept, 4 of us slept, you know, sideways on the bed because we were small enough. You know. I never knew what it felt like to sleep alone till I got married.
You have 8 children.
Mm-hmm.
You now have been married 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
You started when you were real young.
Yes, I did. Well, my first sexual encounter, actually, I think it was.
So you were 18, she was 15.
Mm-hmm.
She got pregnant, and you did the honorable thing by marrying her.
Right. Dad taught us to live up to our responsibilities. You know, that's the way we were taught, and I did, you know.
Your second marriage lasted quite a few years.
Yeah, it lasted 16 years. And then she became Queen of the Hill. She built a 17,500 square foot that overlooks the valley house.
Mm-hmm. Success went to her head, not yours.
She's a good person. She just doesn't handle things right sometimes, you know.
So you moved on, and the next wife, kind of a controversial relationship because she was actually the ex-wife of one of your golfing buddies.
Yeah, Mike Davis. Yeah, Mike and I were friends. Still are. I'm a friend of Mike's.
Does he say he's a friend of yours?
I don't know. Billy and I were breaking up at that time. Mike and Sarah were breaking up at that time. As I look back on it, yeah, I can see where the rag magazines, you know, how they had their field day with it and said Glen was this and Glen was that. But it was still the same thing, you know. I didn't believe in living together with a woman. But my dad always said, son, if you're getting the milk free, what do you don't buy the cow for? You know, of course, I understand what he meant later on in that, but I always took the cow.
You separated 3 weeks after your baby was born with Sarah?
Mm-hmm. I told her mother-in-law she was going to have to move back to Kansas for a while. It was getting, and she said, if I move out of here, I'll take my daughter. And I said, well, give it your best shot. And they were gone the next morning, and that was the end of the ball game.
She says she thought you were running around with other women at the time.
No.
Shall we talk about Tanya Tucker for a little bit?
Well, God, you could talk about her for a year and never.
That was a very stormy relationship, to say the least.
That was destined for doom from the word go.
Mm-hmm. Was that one of those situations where it was just the two of you were fire and just no way you could ever come to grips with anything that was so passionate?
Well, I was water. No, I just tell her the way it is, and she couldn't seem to accept that. Tanya kind of lives around in a fantasy world a lot. And she wanted to show me that, and she told me that, you know, I can sing better than you can. I said, how can you? You know, I'm a male. I can't sing better than you. You're a female. I think Tanya Tucker is a great talent. I think she's a great female singer.
Are you still friends?
Yeah, I'm all right. I love Tanya. I don't like her that much. I don't prove. She has to live her own life. You know, who am I to say? We will all stand before the judgment seat of Christ, and we'll know what we did then.
And now you're married.
Yeah.
To a beautiful woman.
She's a very, very nice gal. She doesn't tell me what to do. She doesn't bug me, in a sense. She lets me be the captain of the ship, and she's the first mate, and I love that.
That sounds a little chauvinistic to me, that you're the man
There's not two captains of an airplane. I mean, life is a heck of a lot more important than an airplane or a ship. There's one captain and there's a first mate. Somebody's got to be responsible. Two of them, it's got to be done a certain way. So who are you going to hold responsible if it goes kapoop out the window? And that's exactly what happened to 3 marriages prior to that. That's why the divorce rate now is higher than the marriage rate. I mean, to me, it's not chauvinistic, I don't think. I think it's great for women to... There's a difference between males and females.
Well, all the gold records, all the Grammys, were you ready for all that success?
No, I really wasn't. It made me want to go stick my head in the ground because I wasn't used to all the attention. You know, I mean, I got attention when I was a kid, but I wasn't used to people, you know, falling all over me, fawning on me. I wasn't used to having to have security. It got to be awesome. It really did.
When was the first time you really felt comfortable with your success?
Since I quit drinking 4 years ago, and I can go out there with a clear mind in front of an audience, and it's really a lot of fun. I'm truly enjoying it now.
Why do you think you got to that point?
I was out there on probably the last leg of the journey for me. I didn't want drinking and drugging and whatever. Never stuck a needle in my arm, thank you, Lord. And I knew I had to quit. It was in Hawaii. And I got on one of my binges after the show. And I thought I was going to die for 2 days. And that was the start of me quitting alcohol and everything else, for that matter. I hadn't done drugs for probably a year before that. But I just said, you know, it's time, Glen Campbell. It's either live or die. And so I quit it. And it just, bingo.
Cold turkey, you quit it?
Yeah.
By yourself?
Well, with the help of Jesus Christ, yes. He did it. I didn't really. If he wants to take him, pull you out of the mire, he does, you know.
So it's been 5 years since you had a drink. You're not smoking anymore.
No, I wear my patches now for a while.
Are you a completely different man?
Yes, I am. I'm born again. It's amazing. The old self is, thank God, is only in papers in the past.
And what do you think when you look back at the life you were leading and the path you were on?
Well, I was on the road to death and destruction, as you know, many people have been. You know, you see their life story on TV now, the ones that didn't handle it. And I'm on the road to life now. You feel a whole lot better waking up than you do coming to if you've ever been there.